Hello friends, welcome to the next session on propositional logic. We already know as per the previous lecture, if you want to have one machine to be intelligent enough and you want them to have dialogue with us in a natural language or do complex tasks like diagnosing a medical condition or any problem solving and decision making, then first the machine needs to become knowledgeable about the real world. Now, machine learning enables a machine to grow knowledgeable through automatic and experience based learning without being explicitly programmed. And part of this is giving knowledge to the machine. And today we'll look at one of the knowledge representation scheme, that is propositional logic. So, what is propositional logic in artificial intelligence? A machine can't understand our language, so the knowledge of the real world needs to be represented to the machine in the right manner that is readable to a computer system. Right? You need to give the knowledge to the machine in the manner what computer can understand. Knowledge is represented to a machine so that its automatic learning capacity can be enhanced. What we want to teach them only once, and then we want them to learn their own with the experience. So propositional logic is one of the simplest method of knowledge representation to a machine. So what is the basic idea behind this? So proposition means sentences. Remember again, this is a sentence which will be understandable by the computer. It applies the Boolean logic to convert our real world data into a format that is readable to the computer. Now, when you're talking about Boolean logic, we already know Boolean is true or false, that is 0 or 1. So we'll try to convert our sentences into the Boolean logic so that it becomes readable to a computer. Now, if you take a simple example, like if we say it's hot and humid, the machine won't understand. But if we can create a propositional logic for this sentence, then we can make the machine read and interpret this message. So derived from Boolean logic, the heart of propositional logic is the idea that the final output of all the propositions are either true or false. But it can't be both. Remember this, it can be either true or false, but it cannot be both. Let us take some example to understand proposition logic bit deeper. Mumbai is capital city of Maharashtra. The output of this proposition is true because Mumbai is capital city of Maharashtra. But if I say Kolhapur is capital city of Maharashtra, then the output will be false. So this is the way propositional logic will work. So propositional logic applies to those sentences where the output can only be either true or false. But if I want to apply proposition logic to a sentence like some children are playing, then there are two possible outputs here. What is the output? The first proposition is true for those children who are playing, but it is false for those children who are not playing. So for such sentences, propositions where two or more outputs are possible, propositional logic doesn't apply. That means you should have clear output. Either it should be true or false. It cannot be both. Now, what are the types of propositions? Basically, you have two types, atomic and complex. As the name suggests, atomic means a single sentence and complex means set of sentences what will be used. So a simple sentence is called atomic proposition and it should be either true or false. So taken a simple example, 9 plus 2 is equal to 11. The condition is true. So it is true, but if I say 9 plus 2 is equal to 13, then it is false. Similarly, sun rises in the west, it is false. Now, a combination of simple sentences connected by logical connectors forms the complex proposition. Now, a simple example here, today is Friday and people visit Mahalakshmi temple today. The combination of two sentences. One is what? Today is Friday. Second is what? People visit temple. Now, I'll buy either red jacket or I'll buy a blue jacket. So here I have two sentences, right? Joined with the connective here. A proposition that is always true is known as tautology, and a proposition that is always false is known as contradiction. Sentences that are questions and commands in nature do not belong to proposition category. Simple example like if you give a question, what is the date today? Now, what is the date today cannot have an answer true or false, right? So it is a question, so it cannot be a It cannot be represented using proposition. Now, propositional logic syntax. In propositional logic, there are 5 symbols to create the syntax to represent the connection of 2 or more sentences. As I said, compound complex proposition is what? Combination of atomic propositions. So syntax means a proper structure to represent the information. Now, so what it is, propositional logic syntax, it's a structure which consists of simple, undividable statements joined together with logical connectors. As you already saw in the previous slide, we have 5 logical connectors and further we'll be looking at them in detail. A sentence in any language contains a combination of words like the verb, noun, pronoun, prepositions, etc. Syntax or propositional logic language also follows the same rule. Now, the problem comes in the natural language. The natural language words may have slightly different meaning. Like simple example, if I say A and B and A should always have the same meaning. But if I have the sentence, C became sick and C went to doctor. Now, if I say C became sick is represented using capital A and C went to doctor is represented using capital B. So A and B is true. C became sick and C went to doctor. But B and A cannot be true. Why? Because C went to the doctor and C became sick, which is not possible. It will have different meaning. So proposition logic is used to represent simple logic. Now, so what are the syntaxes here? You have subject and the syntax. Now, simple undividable statement represents true or false and it is Boolean in nature. So here you are using uppercase letters to represent the statements or the sentences. Either you have capital A, B, C, D or X, Y, Z, whatever it is, right? Now logical connectors or the operators are used to connect two statements, right? And what are these 5 logical connectors? You have and, you have or, you have implies, you have biconditional and you have negation, right? These are the 5 operators or connectors we'll be using to combine or form the complex propositions. Now complex conditions are handled by coding connectors within the parenthesis, right? Now, let us take very simple examples again. Vivin can play tennis. How will we represent this? So let's take a variable capital X. So Vivin can play tennis is a sentence or a statement which we are representing using a capital X. Now, if I say Vivin cannot play tennis, then what it is? Cannot. Cannot is what? Negation. So there is a negation in the sentence. So symbolic representation will be negation of X. Is it fine? Now, I say Vivin can play tennis and badminton. Note there is a new addition called badminton, right? So let us say this is X, Vivin can play tennis is X and Vivin can play badminton is Y. Now to represent this, what we have something called conjunction, or we also call it in a simple logical operator and or a dot. So symbolic representation will be X and Y. That is, Vivin can play tennis, that is X, and Vivin can play badminton, that is Y. Is it fine? Now, next we have Vivin can play tennis or badminton. Here it is disjunction. Why? Because Vivin can either play tennis, that is X, or Vivin can play badminton, that is Y. So X or Y. This sentence can be represented using this proposition logic. Now, next what we have, if Vivin can play tennis, then he can play badminton. Remember, if Vivin can play tennis, then only he can play badminton. So what it is, X implies Y. So there is a condition and the symbolic representation is X implies Y. So what is X? X is Vivin can play tennis. What is Y? If he can play tennis, then he can play badminton. Now this was the 4th logical connector. Now the last one what we have is the simple example. Vivin can play tennis if and only if he can play badminton. Remember the statement here, if and only if. That means if Vivin can play tennis, then he can play badminton. If he can play badminton, then he can play tennis. So it is both way implies, that is X implies Y and Y implies X. So it is biconditional sentence and symbolical representation is like this. Arrow in both the directions. I hope these 5 logical connectives using this example is bit clear. We'll take more examples. Now, what is the propositional logic syntax? Again, the same thing. These are 5. First one is negation, denoted using this negation symbol. So it represents a negative condition. If P is positive statement and negation of P indicates not. Simple example, today is holiday, that is represented by P. And when you say today is not a holiday, it is negation of P. Next, we have conjunction, that is P and Q. It joins two statements P and Q with and. Now, simple example, if you check, like here again, I have given example. Nishchay is a football player, represented using your proposition P. Nishchay is a chess player. Now, this statement we are representing using Q. Now, to combine these two statements using a logical connective, then Nishchay plays both football and chess. And how are you representing it as P and Q? This is conjunction. Now next what we have is disjunction, that is P or Q. It joins two statements P and Q with or. Now let us look at the example again. Nakita leaves for Sweden. If you represent it as P, and Nakita leaves for Paris is represented using Q. So now you have two sentences P and Q. P representing Nakita leaves for Sweden and Q represents Nakita leaves for Paris. Now Nakita leaves for Sweden or Paris can be represented using P or Q. So this is a complex statement and we could connect it using a logical connectivity disjunction. Next we have implication, that is P implies Q. Again, the sentence Q is dependent on sentence P. Remember, sentence Q is dependent on sentence P, but sentence P is not dependent on sentence Q. It is unidirectional, right? It follows the rule of if then clause. If sentence P is true, then sentence Q is true. What is the example here? If it is Sunday, then I'll go to movie. Like if it is Sunday, then only I'll go to movie. It represents P implies Q. But it is not necessary I'll go to movie only if it is Sunday. It is not both way. Now, next the last logical connective what we have is biconditional. Here P implies Q and Q implies P. Remember in implication we have only unidirectional, that is P implies Q, but Q does not imply P. So here in biconditional, sentence Q is dependent on sentence P and vice versa. And the conditions are bidirectional in this connective. If a conditional statement and its converse are true, then it is called as biconditional connective. Now, let us look at an example again here. If I have 1,000 rupees, then only I'll go for shopping. If I have 1,000 rupees, then only I'll go for shopping. Let us say it is represented using P. Now the converse condition can be I will go for shopping if and only if I have rupees 1,000. This is Q. So the first statement covers the necessity and the second one covers the sufficiency. So P implies Q and Q implies P. This is biconditional. Let us look at the truth table. As we talked about, propositional logic is Boolean based, so it will have truth table. The first one is very simple, which is related to negation. So P value, if it is true, negation of P is false. If P is false, then the negation of P is true. Let us look at conjunction, which is nothing but, if you look at it carefully, it is your AND gate, if you know the logic gates. If P is true and Q is true, then P and Q is true. But if P is false and Q is false, then also it is false. If P is true and Q is false, then P and Q is false. If P is false and Q is true, then also it is false. So this is a simple AND gate. The simple AND gate. Similarly, disjunction is a simple OR gate, right? Like if P and Q are true, then P or Q is true. If these are false, then it is false. But if either of these is true or false, then also it is true. It is a simple OR logic gate. Now next what we have again is a truth table for the implication, that is implies, P implies Q. Now here I have taken a simple example to make it more clear. See, now again this is a complex proposition where we have two sentences, right? So if here I am saying if there is a rain, then the roads are wet. Now, if there is a rain is P, the roads are wet is Q. Let us say if there is a rain is represented using the proposition P, and then the roads are wet is represented using the proposition Q. Now, the sentence, the first statement, when P is true and Q is true, that is, if there is a rain, then the roads are wet. It is true. So P implies Q is true. Now the next statement, if I say, okay, if there is no rain, then no roads are wet. So both are false. So this is false. Now, if I say P is true and Q is false, that means if there is a rain, but the roads are not wet. Why? Because it is false, which is not possible, because if it rains, roads will be wet. So P implies Q is false here. Is it clear? Again, I repeat, P is true. That is, there is a rain, but roads are not wet, which is not possible, because if it is raining, roads will be wet. So P implies Q is false. Now, the second statement, what it says, P is false. When there is no rain, but the roads are wet. What it is saying, there is no rain, but the road is wet. It is true. Why? Because road can be wet even if you are planting your trees, you are washing your car or anything, right? So it can be true. So you need to be careful about these two statements. That's why I've taken an example for implication. The last logical connective we have is biconditional. Again, here also I've taken an example. What it says, both way it is true. Like if P implies Q, then Q also implies P. So I take an example. If I'll go to mall, I'll go to mall if and only if I have to do shopping. So if you look at these two statements, now let us say P represents I will go to mall and Q represents I'll do shopping, right? Now, if both are true, that means I'll go to mall if and only if I have to do shopping. It is true. Now, second is what? I'll not go to mall and I'll not do shopping, because I'm not going to mall, I'll not do shopping. This is also true, because what we want, you will go to mall only if you do shopping. Now, next, what P says, I'll go to mall, but I'll not do shopping. That is false. Why? Because what the condition says, both ways should be true. If I'll go to mall, then I'll do shopping. If I'll do shopping, then I'll go to mall. So here what it is saying, I'll go to mall, but I'll not do shopping, which is false. And here what we are saying, I'll not go to mall, but I'll do shopping. That is false. It is not allowed, because both should be true. Is it clear? I hope it is clear with this example now. Fine. I'll go to mall. That means here it is saying I'll not go to mall, but I'll do shopping, which is false. Now, you can have more than 3 propositions. I've just given a truth table here. Of course, I'm not going to explain this. It's clear cut as per what the previous explanations I have given, but I'll take a simple example and show you all how these 3 works. Let us say I have a sentence. You can access the internet from the campus only if you are a computer science student or you are not distant education student. Look at the sentence again. You can access the internet from the campus is one sentence and you represent it using P. You are computer science student is another sentence represented using Q. And you are not distant education student is represented by negation of R. Why negation? Because here you are used not. Now, if I want to represent this whole sentence using proposition logic, now I have 3 sentences, so I'll have 3 propositions to be used. So here you can see what I'm saying, you can access the internet from the campus only if, whenever if comes, it is implies. So P implies, what it implies? You are a computer science student represented using Q, or this is a logical connectivity for or, not a distant education student. You put it into a bracket. So this is a complex proposition representing 3 sentences using a logical connective. I hope it is clear. P is what? You can access the internet from the campus only if you are a computer science student or you are not a distance education student. Right? Now I want you to look at this table and get the meaning. This was just an example to make it a bit clear. Now, these are the properties of the operators. Of course, nothing much to explain. You know, commutativity, associativity, identity, double negation, elimination, right? You have negation and negation, so it gets nullified and you get only P. So this is just for your reference. Now, operators are introduced as abbreviations of some complex formulas. Here you can see A or B. Again, it can be represented in one more way. I can have negation of A and negation of B. So which will be again a false, and negation of false will be now true. So A or B will be true. Similarly, A implies B. You have not A or B, right? So either this is false and this is true. Because it's a OR gate, it is true. Again, the same thing here, negation and negation of A. So both double negation gets eliminated and it becomes only A and not B. So when you're using and, this is true, this is false. So output is false. Negation of false again becomes true. You can just interpret this again. A implies B is nothing but A implies this biconditional, A biconditional B. So A implies B and B implies A. Now, brackets we use for the simplification, like how do we solve them? The formal syntax makes extensive use of brackets to make grouping unambiguous, right? So here you can just say negation of P or Q and R. So brackets indicate this should be solved, this should be solved, and then this whole together, which implies S. So with the usual precedence, you need to follow. Whenever brackets are there, you need to have, you don't need to precedence, but when you don't want to use brackets, you can use precedence rule. So what is the precedence rule? First negation, then and, then or, then implies, and then biconditional. So if you use the precedence, you don't need the bracket. The same statement you can see can be written without using brackets. So first negation, then and, then or, and then implies. So what is the limitation of proposition logic? We cannot represent relations like all, some, or none with propositional logic. Why? Because the output is only true or false. Now the simple statement, all girls are beautiful. I don't have proposition to represent this. Even I don't have proposition to represent some grapes are sour, right? So it has limited expressive power and it cannot describe statements in terms of their properties or logical relationship, right? I hope the simple concept of proposition logic is clear. What we have in proposition logic, each and every sentence is represented as either true or false. It can have the value as true and false. There are two types, you have atomic and you have complex. And all to form a complex proposition, atomic propositions are connected using logical connectives. There are five logical connectives. What we have? We have negation, we have and, we have or, implies, and biconditional, right? And grouping can be made to solve the precedence priority, like which should be solved first. I hope bit of proposition is clear. I expect you all to go through some books and go into detail and solve some propositions. Okay. Thank you.